I wanted to make a little video about a book I'm really enjoying called Interesting Cantonese. So Moses McCormick and Frankie P have done a lot of reviews of Cantonese learning materials, language learning materials, and they've covered a lot of the books that I've enjoyed, such as Sidney Lau's books, a lot of the Greenwood Press books, such as Wedding Bells and Feng Shui Master. But a book I haven't heard anyone talk about is called Interesting Cantonese. And I'm really enjoying this book. It's a book that basically is just sentences, but it's not a phrase book, and I don't generally like phrase books, those books that try and get you up to speed very quickly, so that you can make your trip and say, make a purchase or something. This book is more example sentences that will, they're organized, but basically it's more for learning grammar and building vocabulary. And in that regard, I think it does a really good job. It has audio for all the sentences, and combined with a tool, which I'll mention in a minute, I think it's fantastic. It has all the characters, which is also great. It's got uses Yale romanization, which I prefer personally. I don't know why people enjoy Yuping, having to interpret your J's as Y's and all that sort of thing. It's hard enough to try and interpret Chinese without having to interpret the Roman letters too, so I don't know. Anyway, it's Yale, so that's good for me. Here's a little bit of the book. One of the sections. Can of Coke. Yet gun hold. Come on, focus. Yeah, so you can see how it's organized here. The English with the romanization underneath, and the Chinese. There's been a few places where maybe a character has been missing, or the translation was a little different. But overall, the quality is fantastic. The print quality is great. The quality of the cover, the binding, is really nice. I've spilled things on it in my bag and so on, and just wiped off, and it's been great. So that is good. I would say this book is best for an intermediate learner. It says it's for beginner and intermediate, and I think that's because it does have some simpler sentences in it. But for the most part, there isn't a lot of explanation that goes along with these sentences. So if you don't have a good grasp of the romanization, and if the characters mean nothing to you, then I don't think you'll get too much from this book. It'll be a struggle. It'll be slow. But if you can figure out the Yale, and if you can read the Yale, the romanization, and especially if you've got some grasp of the characters, this becomes a wonderful tool. And combined with the way I use it is combined with my tablet. I've got a program called WorkAudioBook. I'll put a link in the description. And what it does is it automatically breaks down the audio files into sound bites, which is perfect for something like this, where everything is already in different sentences. So then the audio will be broken up generally pretty well into these sentences. So that would be one audio, that would be one audio. And what that means is that you can without too much trouble, say you want to just go over that sentence, you can just listen to this file and repeat that over and over again to get the hang of it, and go to the next one, do the same. And you don't have to do any kind of wrangling of the audio files or messing with it. You just open it and play it and control it however you desire to best learn. Let's see if I can find an example. So here we have words originating from English, and on my tablet I've got the audio for the book, and I go to the WorkAudioBook app and it looks something like this. And what you can do is you can actually you just open the file and it breaks it up into these sections, and if I play one section you'll see
9. 一打黃玫瑰 9.
I've got it
一打黃玫瑰
set to repeat that each section, but I could have it just as easily play through the whole thing. So what that means is I can listen in conjunction with this, and I can shadow if I want, just repeat with exactly right with the sentence until I get the tones exactly right, which is something I definitely need to work on. But this is a fantastic tool for that sort of thing. It's also you're also able to add subtitles. If I had the digital text somehow, I could have it accompany the sound file there, and I've had really good success with Abby Fine Reader as far as scanning a book in and have it recognize the Cantonese. So if you've got the time, that's a bit of work, but you can scan in a section and then add it as well. So overall, I highly recommend this book, and think that for the intermediate learner, it's really good. It's got a good amount of vocabulary, it's well organized, it's good quality, it is fun, it's got some interesting variety of sentences, so it's also got, I think, 3,000 essential words, which is a good amount of vocabulary, especially for someone with a bad memory like me. And when you combine it with the audio and a tool like this WorkAudioBook, yeah, this is great. So you can really break it down in conjunction, of course, with other books where you're getting more context, like Teach Yourself, which is great, and wedding stories and those sort of things. You can get more context and larger texts to read. That's great. But it is great to have some variety, just to have these little sentences, bite-sized nuggets of information to learn from. So, highly recommended. All right.